My name is Adriana Blake. I'm the administrative manager at Taos Valley in Taos Valley, New Mexico. I grew up here. My grandfather was actually the founder of Taos Valley, so I've been at Taos Valley a long time, and officially it's my 26th season. I think some of the reason that people feel there's a lack of customer service in town is because I think we see really high turnover, and so it's difficult to train people in customer service if your turnover is huge. And I think the advantage we have at Taos Valley is that we tend to have pretty low turnover, and so the employees are taking their training from one season to the next. But if your turnover is really high, your customer service, I think, is kind of variable. We tend to draw from the local community, so we have the same people that come back year after year, and then also generations of people. Like I'm a third generation Blake, but I'm not the only third generation of people working for Taos Valley. So there's this big long training that happens, and it's coming down from our grandparents and from our parents, that there's sort of this tradition of us doing customer service as though people were guests in our company. So they come in, and it's not like they're coming just to buy your stuff or ski on your mountain. They're coming and they're guests in Taos Valley. And I think that setting that example from way high in the company, but also through generations of employees, is a big deal. We work outside. Like, we aren't just sitting in our offices going, you guys need to be nice to your guests. We especially are out picking up trash and parking cars and helping, on the lifts and teaching lessons and those kinds of things. And so if hopefully we're setting a good example of customer service, and that way the people that work for us and watch us work know that that's an important thing to us. And then we can say it's important that you be nice to the guest 100 times, but the first time we're rude to a guest in front of our employees, they're like, well, it must not be that important. And so I think that we set a really high example of customer service personally. Taos Valley, at its fully employed, has about 660 employees. So there's a lot of us. And those people that are coming in, I think the thing we look for, like we always say, customer service is really important, and that's part of our interview process, but I think that all of our supervisors who've been here a long time and have been part of the company kind of have a feeling of what's going to work with their guests, and it's totally different depending on a department. The guest isn't always right, but they should always be treated with courtesy, and Ernie always signed all his letters cordially, and sometimes he was totally not being cordial at all, but it's kind of a joke that Hano and I, my brother and I, have, that everything needs to be cordial whether it is or not. So when you are dealing with a guest, especially an unhappy guest, keeping it calm and friendly is really important. And we also, I think, tend to empower our employees enough to make pretty wide range of decisions on how to deal with a guest's problems. Not necessarily like just give them everything they need, but they don't have to go and check with their supervisor or check with management in order to resolve a guest complaint. If we have an unhappy guest, I think we empower most of our employees to deal with that guest as best they can. And if they feel like they can't deal with a guest, I think that they always know that we're available to come down and help. I think some of the better advice that we can give to other people who are starting businesses in Taos is to set a good example, to be always courteous, both to your customers in the company, so the people that work for you, but also the customers that come in your door. So if you treat your workers respectfully, then they treat their guests respectfully, and that's a really important thing. And I think empowering them also to make decisions about how to treat a guest is a really big deal, and for them to know that they have your backup is really, really important. If a guest is being really horrible to one of your employees and you side with the guest, you are undermining your employees' ability, and I think backing your employees' decisions up, if they're good decisions, is a really important thing. And I think because this is a family-owned company and we have this long tradition, that it's important that our employees realize that our guests really are guests. They're not just customers. And a lot of our guests come back year after year, and they have families that come back. And so if you can make that little effort that makes them feel at home here, that's a big deal for us and for our family. And if you see a guest that's struggling with their equipment and all you do is go over and say, it's easier to carry your skis tips forward than to hold them in your arms like a baby, then you've made like a huge difference in their trip. And if you can do that one time in a season, that guest will come back. Go out of your way just a little bit to make sure that our guests are having a good trip. And the other thing I think that we talk about a lot throughout the company is that we never say, that's not my job. It's your responsibility as a host here to go out there and help them. And I think we do a pretty good job of realizing that even though it's not my job, if you step in there, you've made that guest and other employees' lives better, and that's a good thing. Somebody said earlier that our guest is not as dependent on us as we are on them, so we need to realize that and know that if we treat them badly, they're never coming back, and they're taking their dollars away with them.
My name is Allison Burke, and I'm the Human Resources Director for the Taos Inn. I've been in the hospitality industry for about 20 years. I've always enjoyed people. I've always enjoyed finding out where they're from, what their lives look like. Oftentimes, I feel when people are out to dinner or out on vacation that they're experiencing something special, and so I like to be part of that. For me, hospitality is the relationship between a guest and the Taos Inn. It's the moment that one is participating in, so I want to make sure that their needs are anticipated and that they get the best service possible. Obviously, the first thing I'm looking for is some experience. The Taos Inn is not a great place to get your feet wet. Somebody who has good people skills that can participate in the conversation, spontaneous, engaging. I want them to feel comfortable in their own skin, maintain eye contact, just generally bring a comfortable presence to the experience. My trainers that are on the floor, people that have been here 3 to 5 years, those folks are really representing who we are in a really intimate way. So I want to make sure that they're comfortable with the menu and the way that the restaurant works, the way that the bar works, the way that the front desk works, and how we greet guests and make them feel important. I think when a customer becomes upset or feels annoyed or feels ignored, that's something that needs to be taken care of in the moment, and oftentimes that just comes from experience. I always comment, even in the job interview, that the Taos Inn is a great place to work, that we have an amazing staff, and I genuinely believe that. We have just a great group of people. I feel really fortunate. And then when they get here, I really do have the best staff, and so they take people under their wings and teach them the ropes, and they make them feel very comfortable. And then just obvious things, checking in, how is it going for you, how are we treating you, what could be better. And I do have a lot of people that come to my office with concerns or things that we're doing really well, so I really feel very fortunate.
Jamie Tedesco, and I'm the marketing director for the historic Taos Inn. I've worked in hospitality actually for about 20 years. I'm a people person, so I very much enjoy people and I like to work with people. Hospitality, for me, it's the act of being hospitable, of actually making somebody feel welcome. And I think that that's a real talent that, you know, it's not just something that's innate all the time. I mean, there are some people I see that shine in that, and then there's other people that I think have to work at that, but it's really making you feel welcome in whatever situation you're at. And obviously that involves serving people and taking care of them. If they have something that they need, make sure that they have it. If they want to feel special, make them feel special. The team at the Taos Inn provides top-notch hospitality, I think, in the very sense that we're dubbed the living room of Taos. That has a lot to do with it. We are basically the place where we're welcome to everybody. It's very homey, and I think we treat you kind of like grandma's house, so to speak. You know, everybody knows when they go to grandma's house, it's like, it's comfortable, you can get a slice of apple pie, and I think that that goes into our staff. When we hire people, that we look for people that exude that personality and that are trainable. The other thing personally that I look for in employees is creativity. I think it's really important to find someone who's creative and a problem solver. In the hospitality industry, you have to think on your feet very fast, and when someone's standing in front of you, you don't get a pass. You have to be able to provide them a sufficient answer that makes everybody happy right then and there. You have to trust your employees. I mean, when you make the decision to hire them, you're putting them out on the line for you. You have to trust that your whole staff is capable to make those decisions on the spot. And I think it gets into that fancy footwork situation where, are you fast enough on your feet to be able to come up with a creative solution to take care of that person's needs right then and there. One of the things that I've seen as a best practice of the Taos Inn is when we have our meetings, we do like open discussion time where we'll talk about, hey, what happened? Here's what was done right, here's what was done maybe not as good as could have been, and here's how we can improve it the next time. And then we also like to look at kind of those star situations where maybe we're like, hey, we really hit this one out of the park. So I think one of our best practices is that we really, when we meet with our team and communicate with them, we give them the real feedback they need to actually improve. And I think that's important because sometimes people sugarcoat things, and sugarcoating doesn't really help you in this industry.
My name's Graham Gage. We're at Sentinel Bank of Taos, and I'm the customer service manager here at Sentinel Bank. Hospitality and customer service means to me welcoming somebody into your business as you would into your home as well, treating them with respect, delivering exceptional customer service to them, no matter what the situation is. If it's for a small transaction, a large transaction, we give everybody the same amount of respect, treatment, and just try to deliver exceptional customer service, even if it's just shaking somebody's hand in the lobby. What we look for in people here at Sentinel Bank is that you are a true people person, that you want to help people, you want to assist people, fulfill their lending needs, their deposit needs. We truly look for people that are going to not only represent the bank during the 9 to 5 hours, but 24/7. Our customer service culture here at Sentinel Bank is bred from the top down. Everybody from Rebecca to a teller that just started today, they have that sense of ownership here at the bank that they can take care of any problem, any issue, without having to go to the next supervisor. So we try to really instill that sense of ownership in every employee, that they can feel empowered to make those decisions on a daily basis to really ensure that we are delivering exceptional customer experiences.
My name is Rebecca Romero-Rainey, and I am the chairman and CEO of Sentinel Bank of Taos. And the thing I love about working here is that we're a community bank. I get an incredible opportunity to get to know our customers, build relationships, do fun things in the community, and try and give back for all the folks and things that this community has done for us. Customer service means taking care of people. Treating people the way you want to be treated, really building relationships. You know, customer service can mean anything depending on what you're doing and what the needs of your customers are. As long as you meet those needs, you're serving them, and hopefully you make them feel good in the process, leave them with a smile, and build a foundation for the future. I feel the key components to providing good service are, number one, treating people like you want to be treated. Really listening to what the customer's needs are, not assuming what they're trying to get at, but really listening. Service with a smile. You know, there's so many things. It's rough out there these days, and so if you can provide an environment where somebody feels comfortable, I think that's half the battle. A lot of times it's just attitude. It's people that are willing to work hard, that want to take care of people, that want to carry things through to the end. I think that's another thing in customer service is that you completely meet the need. You don't just answer the question, you don't just give a simple answer, you really follow through in what you're trying to do. So looking for employees that want to do that. They want to understand why we do things the way we do, so that then they can better take care of customers, have a positive attitude, have some good energy, that they're fun to interact with, really leads to, I think, great customer service skills. It's one thing to just assume that we all know what good customer service means, but I think it's really important to articulate that. So for example, we have a list of service standards, things that we just expect people to do. Most of them are just very common sense, but it's articulated. You know, somebody wakes up on the wrong side of the bed and they're having a bad day, they know what those service standards are, and so they're going to be very clear in terms of what the expectations are. So we talk about those. We talk about what it means. We give examples of what it means so that everybody's on the same page. Boy, advice for how to build a good customer service culture. I think one of them is creating clear expectations, really communicating to your folks what it is that you expect. Even though it's common sense, there's something about articulating it and making clear for everybody that just makes a difference. I think rewarding good behaviors. When you have somebody that's gone above and beyond to take care of somebody or to solve a problem, let them know that you appreciate it. Let them know what they did that was so significant that you really appreciated, and those behaviors will happen again. And then another one, and something that we've started here recently, is trying to learn from your mistakes. You know, there certainly will be times when things don't go perfectly. We've created an internal process where we're looking for opportunities for improvement, where somebody has a situation didn't go exactly the way they wanted. There's a place on our portal, they go out and sort of log that situation. It generates an email to myself so we can learn about the situation. Is there something in our process, in our guidelines, in our policy that didn't allow us to give the best customer service that we could have? And so we're looking for ways to improve those things so employees can really do the best job possible.
My name is Lisa Enkoff. I'm the Human Resources Director at El Monte Sagrado Resort and Living Spa. Here at Kessler, I'm proud to say our employees are referred to as grand performers. And what I like to talk about during orientation is that when you are here at work and you're on shift, you're actually on stage. And to really think about your audience and think about if you were Justin Timberlake and came out and didn't engage with your audience or perform, or your heart kind of wasn't in it, how would the audience feel? So I really try to use that term to help our grand performers understand how they might be perceived by the guest and what an incredible responsibility they have in shaping the experience. Customer service and hospitality, I often talk about the meaning of that with the new grand performers that we hire here during orientation. To me, it's about making the guest and the customer feel special, showing pride in our community, taking what each person loves about being here in Taos and conveying that to the guest so that they have a special experience. I think high energy, passion, the ability to hear people's problems and resolve them, not take them personally, are all important qualities. How do we make it better? How do we solve the problem for the guest? Basically, it is really anticipating needs before a guest even knows what that need is. It may also be a means of, when you're responding to a problem and resolving that for the guest, to ask, is there anything else that the guest may need? And at the end of the day, I let our grand performers know, really, guests come here, they want to feel special and taken care of. And so just really actively listen and understand what they may be trying to tell you. It may not be about the problem. It may have been the flight delay in Albuquerque and taking 3 hours to get here. So what can you do to address that underlying need to help them feel more comfortable? So what we actually take our grand performers through is we talk about our mission statement. We say, okay, we're here to feature inspiring places, intuitive service, and exuberant guests. So as part of that, when you're walking towards a guest and you're 10 feet away from each other, you can pause, make eye contact, direct eye contact, continue to walk towards each other at 5, smile, offer a greeting. So as a means of really living up to our mission statement of intuitive service, just really talking with and engaging with that guest and sharing whatever information I have that might be valuable in that moment and create a special experience for the guest. And oftentimes they really appreciate it, and then it winds up leading to another conversation about something special in Taos that they were going off to do, and they really feel like they've left having engaged with someone and having had an experience, a guest experience.
My name is Bruce Ruggs, and I'm the general manager here at El Monte Sagrado. I think the key thing that you can do is don't provide surprises for guests. Make sure that they have all the items that they expect. Try to anticipate their needs. Make sure your team and staff are looking for what the guests want before they even think of it themselves. Make sure that you let the guests be heard. I found that if you let them tell you the entire story, that sooner or later you will get to the point where it's very clear what they're trying to get to. And I think that's one of the things I've tried to teach my employees, to listen. And it's a tough one. A lot of times you want to solve, you figure out what their problem is before they finish their story, and you try to jump in and solve the issue for them. But most of the time people really want to be heard. Customer feedback is very important, and we have not only customer feedback, we have internal feedback, we have company affiliation feedback, and I have a lot of people call me directly and let me know, how their stay was, and every piece of information that comes from people is really valuable. It gives you a chance to look at the stats, it gives you a chance to measure yourself against your competitors to see how they're doing as well. And I look at those metrics every single day. Every day, it's important to measure yourself against your challengers. Well, I think Taos is a unique, spectacular environment. There are so many cultures that mix here, and it's a pleasure and a privilege actually to really share it with our guests from all over the world that come here. The art, the culture, the scenery, and it's an important job for us to really share where the trails are, where to fish, where to go to dinner, and Taos is a great place to be able to share and to help our guests enjoy those experiences. I try to get involved. I think that my job is to jump in and help wherever I can, and I think that means taking out the trash or answering the phone or parking a car. I think those are things you need to do, and as a team you have to lead by example, and it's very important. If you're not doing it, everyone picks up on that very quickly.